So last season, Manchester United finished second in the Premier League and had by far the best defensive record. Well, at least that's what I could say if we only took into consideration home games. At Old Trafford, Manchester United were absolutely brilliant last season. Their record was genuinely phenomenal, and like I said, they had the best defensive record. But when we look at the actual league table, they struggled much more, finished third, and their defence wasn't too great. And the reason for that is because the results away from home were pretty darn bad. Some of these are really poor, really horrendous results, dropping points which United should simply not be dropping. So today we need to figure out why, how, what is the difference here? Because at home last season, Manchester United scored 36 goals and conceded just 10. Away from home, they scored only 22 and conceded a massive 33. There is a clear problem here, and Ten Hag needs to figure out what that problem is, because he needs to improve United's form away from home this season, starting with Spurs this weekend. The question is, how does he do it? What is it that's wrong? Because it's actually quite hard to figure it out. When you look into the numbers, when you look into the data, nothing really jumps out at you in terms of pressures per 90, tackles per 90, shots per 90, chances created per 90. There isn't actually a massive difference between home and away, suggesting that we need to look beyond the data, and Erik Ten Hag seems to agree. Because, oh, that's the wrong thing. Let's look at this quote from last season. It's absolutely true when asked about his side's poor away form, but is to do with personality and character. This is where we need to step up and face this. So Erik Ten Hag has recognised that it may not even be a tactical problem as such away from home, but more of a mental one. So the question is, how on earth do you go about addressing that, and what can we kind of discuss today?
So I just quickly wanted to take a break away from the main camera to talk to you guys about today's video sponsor, the Football Shirt Club. And the reason I want to talk about them is because today they have sent me this beautiful mystery box for me to try out for myself. You can see this lovely purple packaging, really good quality. So today we're going to open it up and we're going to see what we get inside. So we've turned the camera, let's see what we are going to get inside. If you want to check them out, the link will be in the description down below to get one for yourself. But drumroll please, let's have a look at what we're going to get. Oh, it's very nice indeed. I'm seeing a PSV badge straight away, but also a couple of bonus gifts. We have a little information card. You guys can pause it if you want to read through that. I'll be reading through it later. We've also got some playing cards. Marcus Rashford feels very fitting for the channel. Got some different playing cards there though. Really high quality. They feel very nice. But then, the most important thing, the Piece à la Résistance, the PSV shirt. The 21-22 away kit. I need to try this on and show you guys. So I have to say I'm really pleased with it. The PSV badge on the kit is very nice indeed. If you want to get your own mystery box, check out the Football Shirt Club using the link in the description down below. And also, if you use code AJ10 at checkout, you will get yourself a nice little discount.
So we will start off by discussing character, because there is a clear problem in the squad. When United concede goals away from home, they quickly fold, they quickly crumble. The darker footballs that you can see at the bottom of the screen there are goals conceded. We can see that there are several instances last season where once Manchester United conceded one goal, they then quickly concede several in quick succession. That Liverpool game really is the worst example. They play fine all first half, concede late on in the first half, and then quick successive goals in the second half. There is quite clearly a problem there with the squad. So the question is, how do you go about addressing that? Well, I think Erik Ten Hag has been putting that kind of work in place ever since he joined the club. Signings like Lisandro Martinez, Casemiro, these are experienced players, but also real hearty players, players which fight for the shirt. Anthony is another one who's a very tenacious player. So I think Erik Ten Hag has tried to address it in that manner. He's also addressed it even further this summer with a signing like Andre Onana in goal. David De Gea, whilst he was a good goalkeeper for a long time, was never really a big character, never an imposing character. Andre Onana is someone who takes responsibility and is a real leader on the football pitch, so that is a way in which you can address the character. Mason Mount is also something similar. He's always been heavily praised by all of his managers and also opposition managers as well. He's represented England at the Euros, at the World Cup, and he's won the Champions League, with him getting a decisive assist to win the tournament. So these are players which we know will bring a character and a fight to the way that they play. This now leaves United, when we look through the squad, with several big characters in there. Andre Onana in goal is a big character. Lisandro Martinez is an absolute fighter, a warrior, a butcher, some might say. Rafael Varane is an incredibly experienced player and the same goes for Casemiro, who again we know is a real fighter in the team. Mason Mount is an experienced player whose personality has always been praised. Bruno Fernandes is a fighter. Antony is the same on the right wing. So that is several players there which are real fighters on the football pitch. So I think in a sense Erik ten Hag has gone some way to addressing some of the character problems. And as a result, I do think United will be better away from home this season. But that's not something we can really talk about in too great a depth. It's of course an important thing, but it's work that Erik ten Hag and the players have to do in the training ground, behind closed doors. Mental training. These players do without doubt have to react better away from home. But I also think there are tactical ways in which United can help their performances as well. The big thing we are going to be talking about here is energy levels. We've all seen it in some sort of football match at any level. It could be Sunday League level, it could be semi-pro level, it could be the Champions League. We've all seen it, where a team looks tired, they're fatiguing around the 60th minute, but then you get that big roar from the crowd when you're the home team, and that seems to really push teams on. That gives you, for some reason, it just gives you extra energy. I don't know the science behind it, but no one would argue it. You look at Newcastle United, for example. Their performances at home, when the crowd gets behind them, are special. Anfield, on a nighttime kickoff, when the crowd gets behind them, it gives them that extra boost. So, of course, that's where perhaps United are struggling, because when they go away from home, they don't have that. So Erik ten Hag, I think, needs to actually find a way to maintain energy levels in this team. And one way of doing that is changing the playstyle. Now, for example, last season Manchester United would regularly go long from goal kicks. David De Gea would send the ball quite direct, and what happens when you send the ball direct? United were losing the first ball, which means instantly you are in duels, you are competing. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've played football, you will know that constantly going in for tackles, jumping up for headers, kind of going shoulder to shoulder with players, is much more exhausting than playing a 4-yard pass. This was a problem that United had last season. I remember several occasions towards the end of the season where it felt like United had a decent first half, but then what we were all saying was in the second half United went too direct, too long, and lost the game. Now, what was actually happening was that United were actually going long for most of the game. It was just in the first half the team had the energy levels and the ability therefore to win the duels, whereas in the second half they were low on energy, the opposition got that big roar from the crowd, so therefore they were now winning the battles. So I think already again, this is an area where Erik ten Hag may have already changed this team, in a couple of ways. Signings like Rasmus Højlund and Mason Mount compared to Weghorst and Christian Eriksen are energetic players. Players who can genuinely produce energetic performances for 90 minutes. Where Christian Eriksen was fatiguing last season, Mason Mount will really come into his element. So that is certainly a way in which I think United will improve away from home this season. I also think signing someone like Andre Onana in goal goes a long way to helping that. Now, like I said already, when you are sending the ball long, competing for duels in the middle of the pitch, it is exhausting. However, when you're playing the ball out from the back, slowly building possession, keeping the ball for your side, and making the opposition do the running, you're saving energy. Also, away from home, what this does is a lot of the time it takes the sting out of the crowd, which therefore kind of reduces the effect that it has on the opposition home team. So if United can improve this season at keeping the ball, I genuinely think they'll improve drastically away from home this season. I think they've already improved the characters in the squad. Rasmus Højlund is another one who is really praised for his character and his desire to be the very, very best. Again, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, Antony, Casemiro, Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane, Onana. They're all big characters who I think will help United away from home. That is something that also Ten Hag needs to work with this team. However, from a tactical point of view, this team simply has to get better at keeping the football. If they don't, United will not have that good a season this year. They have to. They have to get better at keeping possession of the football. We've even seen it in a home game already this season against Wolves the other day. United were losing the ball far too regularly, which gives them far too much running to do. They're losing the duels. It gives the team more work to do, which means they fatigue towards the end of football matches. This team has to, and again, I really mean it, this team has to learn the ability to put their foot on the ball and keep possession for the side. We need to see more rotations in deeper areas to facilitate that. We need to see players dropping in deeper to help out. When Casemiro gets isolated, rather than leaving him by himself where we know he's going to try a forward pass and probably lose the ball, someone like Bruno Fernandes or Mason Mount, they have to recognise that as the trigger to drop a little bit deeper and provide the passing option. Keep the ball for your side. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. passing a ball 4 yards is way less difficult to do in terms of energy levels than competing for 4 headers a game, going in for 9, 10, 11, 12 different ground duels. It is knackering as a footballer to constantly be dueling. Stop yourself from dueling. Keep the football. That for me is the big change which Ten Hag has to make this season. Last season United were going long and suffering from a physical point of view. Fatigue was hitting this team far too early in matches. Erik Ten Hag needs to work on the fitness of these players. The fitness coaches have to do a better job of making sure that physically this squad is ready, but also from a tactical point of view, from a technical point of view. These players need to learn to keep the ball. I genuinely believe if they do that, that we will see horrible results like this just not happening. Because when United do concede goals, they will not react as poorly. Hopefully, that is the aim. That is what Ten Hag needs to achieve with this team. Getting those characters in the squad should certainly help with that. Making sure that you don't collapse once you concede. React in the right way. The signings should help that. But from a technical point of view, we need to see the team not having these results. To do that, they need to keep the ball. Now that is really on Erik Ten Hag and the players. We can talk about it on the channel all day, the ideal setups, different things like that. We do it all the time. These players and this manager have got to get it right. They simply have to. If United can do that and can improve their away form and sustain their home form from last season, United can achieve anything they want this season. They really can be up there as one of the best of the best. They're very, very capable of it. But the work has to be done. I think United have taken steps already with the signings, with certain technical improvements in the team, with certain mindset improvements. But now the players have to take that next step. Will they do it? We just don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. That's kind of where we're at though at this moment in time. In terms of what the problems were away from home last season, for me it was simply that the team was far too direct, therefore producing far too much energy expenditure, therefore technically preventing them from being able to control games because the players were just too tired. This year that has to change, but we're going to have to wait and see whether it happens or not, because for today's video I am finished. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and as always I'll see you in the next one.